We were offered to sell our souls and we refused. And that is why we're now in this current situation we're in.
When you get to a certain level of fame, you either put on a dress or you go to jail, and I'm happy to make my choice, which is jail every single time. My soul is not for sale, neither are my principles.
Today, we are diving into a topic that's been stirring controversy across the internet. The curious case of the Candace Owens and Andrew Tate alliance. Candace recently bemoaned that the Matrix has struck again, and the Romanian government is up to their dirty tricks, arresting the Tate brothers. I mean, as if these two men, and especially Andrew, hasn't been for the better part of a decade promoting the most degenerate behaviors of both men and women. Let's unpack how they've managed to twist these narratives, play the victim, and mislead their audience, all while claiming to stand for truth and integrity. First up, the Matrix defense. Andrew Tate loves to claim he's being targeted by a system, a matrix, if you will, for speaking truth. But let's call it what it is, a classic deflection. When you're accused of serious crimes, pointing at a nebulous system isn't a defense, it's a distraction. Remember when Tate was indicted for human trafficking? Instead of addressing the allegations, he and Owens spun it as an attack on his freedom to speak out. It's like saying, I don't steal cookies. The jar is just oppressive. Tate and Owens are borrowing this concept to paint themselves as victims of a powerful hidden force. It's a classic persecution complex, a psychological tactic where you frame yourself as the oppressed, not the oppressor. By doing this, they flip the script and make it seem like they're the ones that are being under attack rather than being the ones whose actions are questionable. But it doesn't stop there. By invoking the Matrix, they tap into the deep well of conspiracy theories that suggest that the world is controlled by unseen, malevolent forces. Wait a minute. Maybe it is. It's a tactic that plays on existing fears and distrust of authority. When you tell people that they're being lied to or manipulated by a powerful, shadowy entity, it triggers a strong emotional response. It gives a simple explanation for complex issues and makes followers feel like they're part of a special group that knows the truth. This tactic isn't just about defending themselves. It's about building a loyal and almost fanatical following. It creates an us versus them mentality where anyone who criticizes them is seen as part of the matrix and part of the problem. This is where it gets dangerous because it shuts down critical thinking and encourages blind allegiance. Next is the playing the victim. Both have mastered this art. I'm being prosecuted for my views, they cried, as if legal issues or societal backlash are just because they're just too truthful. I mean, really, Candace? You were willing to put your career on the line to insist that the Prime Minister of France had a non-biological wife. Nobody attacked you because you were being truthful. You were being a moron. That's why you were attacked. Owens did a deep dive into Tatum's victims a while back, suggesting they weren't victims at all. But here's the twist. By focusing on the victim's credibility, she conveniently sidesteps the actual accusations against Tate. It's like saying, the house isn't on fire. The smoke alarm is just broken.
And what I've realized is he is a direct cultural response to 10 years of men being told that they are not shit from women, right? The Lena Dunhams, the girl culture, with Taylor Swift with an army of 10 girls. Every song's about a guy and why men suck.
Another layer to this tactic is the manipulation of the hero's journey. By positioning themselves as the protagonists in a battle against the Matrix, Tate and Owens craft a narrative where they're the brave heroes awakening others to the truth. This is deeply appealing to people who feel disillusioned or disenfranchised. It gives them a sense of purpose, a mission to wake up and fight against the system. Now let's talk about hypocrisy. They claim to stand for traditional values, yet their actions or endorsements often contradict this. Here's where they get caught in their own web of deceit. For example, Owens criticized others for moral lapses but gives Tate a pass on his admitted behavior towards women. It's like saying, I'm against theft, except when it's my friend doing the stealing. Or how about when Owens and Tate discuss religion, morality, and then Tate's past comes up? Suddenly, he's embarrassed, not sorry. That's not an apology. That's an admission wrapped in regret, not repentance. When figures like Owens and Tate use these tactics, they're not just defending themselves. They're manipulating narratives to fit their worldview. They want us to believe they're rebels against a system, but often they're just rebelling against accountability. And here's where the real psychological sleight of hand comes in. Instead of addressing the substance of the criticisms against them, they shift the conversation to a broader, more abstract fight against the imaginary enemy. It's a classic deflection tactic that reduces cognitive dissonance in their followers, making it easier to support them, and despite any problematic behavior, they continue to do so. Now, this message is just for Candace. Black girl to black girl. If you hop into gender war politics, your white female Christian conservative contingency, blah. I said this wrong. Your white female conservative contingency, say that 5 times, won't be too happy that you're aligning yourself with man, boy, woman haters influencing their precious sons. The heavy rhetoric on female exploitation and conquest discussed in these spaces will likely be a problem too. Only someone as big as Donald Trump can get away with being an open misogynist on the Christian right, because he's the Messiah that ripped away women's reproductive rights. Trust and believe. White mothers don't want their sons anywhere near that nonsense. White mothers raise their boys to revere the female image, which is why so many of us date them. You think a black woman co-signing these mindsets is going to allow for you to be able to walk away from the kind of unholy alliance that you have with Andrew Tate, slow walking and whistling? It's just not going to happen. So what's the takeaway? When figures like Owens and Tate use these tactics, they're not just defending themselves. They're crafting a narrative where they're the heroes and everyone else is the villain. But here's the real zinger. If you're buying into this without a second thought, you're not just being misled, you're being played. If you find yourself defending the indefensible, maybe it's time to ask, who's really pulling the strings here? We need to be careful here. This isn't about true rebellion or independence. It's about manipulating those very values to build a personal brand and deflect accountability. The real question is, are we letting ourselves be manipulated by a compelling story, or are we staying critical and questioning the motives behind these narratives? I hope you are, like I do. And thanks for watching. Keep questioning, keep challenging, and most importantly, keep your critical thinking cap on. Until next time, stay informed, stay critical, and maybe, just maybe, give the Matrix a reality check. Thanks for watching, and keep it pink, ladies. Peace.